Ladies, let me tell you something real quick. If you've ever found yourself chasing love, attention, validation, or even friendships that make you feel like you're doing all the work, this message is for you. Because today we're flipping the script. We're talking about real queens. And real queens don't chase, they attract. So grab your coffee, fix your crown, and let's get into the truth you needed to hear today. Step 1, self-worth sets the tone. When a woman truly understands her self-worth, everything around her starts to shift. The way she walks, the way she talks, the way she carries herself, it all sends a message without her saying a single word. See, self-worth is like a silent language that everybody can read. It tells people how to treat you, how to approach you, and what lines not to cross. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. When you know who you are and you know what you bring to the table, you don't get rattled by who shows up or who walks away. A woman rooted in her worth doesn't operate out of desperation. She doesn't beg for love. She doesn't cling to people who don't see her value. Why? Because deep down, she knows that being alone is better than being surrounded by energy that drains her. She doesn't need to prove herself, and she doesn't need to compete for attention. The way she respects herself sets the bar for how everyone else will treat her. You can't fake self-worth. People feel it. It shows up in your tone, in your decisions, in what you say yes and no to. It shows up in how long you stay in places that don't serve you. And the beautiful thing is, when you operate from a place of high self-worth, you stop settling for crumbs and start expecting the full meal because you know you deserve it. Step 2, energy speaks louder than words. You ever walk into a room and feel someone's presence before they even say a word? That's energy. It's not about what you say, it's about what you carry. Your energy introduces you long before you open your mouth. It tells the world who you are, what you stand for, and what you will and will not tolerate. People pick up on it instantly, whether it's confidence, insecurity, peace, chaos, love, or desperation. It shows. You can say all the right things, post all the perfect quotes, wear the best outfit, and still have energy that repels instead of attracts. Because energy can't lie. You can't fake alignment. You can't pretend peace. If you're bitter, if you're angry, if you're hurt, but trying to act unbothered, that energy leaks out in your body language, your tone, your expressions. And the world responds to that, not your word. When you carry yourself with grace, self-respect, and calm confidence, people feel that. When you show up grounded in who you are, not needing to impress or prove anything, people take notice. That kind of energy draws in opportunities, connections, and people that match your frequency. It's the reason some people get doors open for them without asking, while others struggle even though they're saying all the right things. Because it ain't the words that move mountains, it's the energy behind them. And the thing is, your energy is shaped by what's going on internally. The thoughts you think, the way you speak to yourself, the healing you've done, the peace you've created, all of that builds the energy you carry into the world. You can't pour out love and light if you're running on empty. You can't expect to attract high-vibe people if you're holding on to low-vibe wounds. So your job isn't to force anything, it's to get your energy right. Clean it up, protect it, fill it with truth, joy, boundaries, and purpose. Because when your energy is in the right place, you won't have to chase a thing, it'll come to you. Step 3, confidence is magnetic. Confidence is that invisible force that pulls people in without you even trying. It's not loud, it's not arrogant, and it definitely doesn't need validation. It's quiet, it's calm, it's steady. Confidence is that look in your eyes that says, I know who I am, and I'm good with it. It's walking into a room without shrinking, without over-explaining, without trying to fit into somebody else's mold. It's not about being the loudest voice or the flashiest presence. It's about being so rooted in your truth that the world can't help but notice. See, people are drawn to confidence because it feels like stability. In a world where so many folks are lost, unsure, and trying to be someone they're not, a confident woman stands out like a lighthouse in the fog. She's not chasing attention, but somehow she gets it. She's not desperate for love, but people want to love her. Why? Because confidence feels safe. It feels rare. It feels powerful. When you're confident, you don't need to compete. You don't need to compare. You don't need to tear anyone down to lift yourself up. You celebrate others without questioning your own greatness because you know your lane is yours. That kind of energy can't be faked and it can't be taught from a book. It's built. It's built through experience, through growth, through showing up for yourself over and over, even when nobody's clapping. Confidence says, I know what I bring to the table and I'm not afraid to eat alone. It's in the way you say no without guilt, the way you speak with clarity, the way you keep your standards high even when you're tired of waiting. It's in your posture, your boundaries, your calm in the chaos. That's the kind of vibe that makes people turn their heads. Not because you're performing, but because you're radiating something real. And the truth is, confidence doesn't come from perfection. It comes from self-acceptance, from showing up raw, flawed, growing, and still holding your head high. It's when you stop trying to earn approval and start living from a place of knowing you are already enough. People can feel that energy. It draws them in. It makes them respect you before they even know your name. It's magnetic because it's rare. And when you've got it, you never have to chase anything. Standards are not negotiable. Standards are the boundaries you set to protect your peace, your energy, and your worth. They're not rules to control others. They're reflections of how deeply you respect yourself, and when you truly respect yourself, your standards are not up for discussion. They're not flexible just because you're afraid to lose someone. They're not something you adjust because you're tired of being alone or you're scared of seeming too much. Your standards are sacred. They are the line between who gets access to you and who doesn't. When a woman has real standards, she doesn't apologize for them. She doesn't water herself down just to be more likable. She doesn't play small just to fit into someone's limited idea of love. She knows that if someone has a problem with her standards, that someone was never supposed to sit at her table in the first place. Because standards are not about being difficult, they're about being clear about what you will accept, what you won't tolerate, and what you know you deserve. Too many people confuse high standards with being unrealistic. But there's a difference between having a fantasy and knowing your value. When you know your value, you're not willing to entertain behavior that disrespects your time, your body, or your heart. You've already done the work to heal, to grow, to love yourself, and you're not going to let anyone walk in and undo all that just because you're afraid to say no. People will test your boundaries. That's life. But how you respond, that's where your standards show up. Do you stay quiet to keep the peace? Or do you speak your truth, even if it means walking away? Do you keep giving chances to someone who keeps showing you the same behavior? Or do you finally decide that your love doesn't come with unlimited access? Your standards are your filter. They determine what stays and what gets dismissed. And the moment you start bending them just to keep someone around, you teach that person how to treat you. You show them that your no doesn't really mean no. You show them that you're negotiable. But the truth is, when your standards are rooted in self-worth, they're unshakable. They don't move with your mood, your relationship status, or your loneliness. They stay in place because you've decided that your peace is more important than temporary attention. They stay in place because you'd rather wait for the right one than entertain the wrong one out of boredom. They stay in place because you finally understand that what you settle for becomes your standard, and you refuse to settle for less than what God built you for. Step 5, chasing leads to settling. When you chase something, you're already coming from a place of lack. You're moving with the mindset that what you want is out there, just barely out of reach, and if you run fast enough, try hard enough, prove yourself enough, you might catch it. But that kind of energy is dangerous because it opens the door to settling. When you're chasing, your focus shifts from, is this good for me? To how do I make them choose me? And the moment that shift happens, you start compromising, you start bending, you start ignoring your intuition just to feel seen, wanted, loved, even if it's not the kind of love you truly desire. Chasing puts you in a constant state of pursuit, and when you're always pursuing, you don't have time to pause and evaluate whether what you're running after is even right for you. You become so consumed with the idea of having someone or being chosen that you ignore red flags, you overlook disrespect, you tolerate inconsistencies because in your mind, catching them feels like a win, even if the prize doesn't match the effort. When you're chasing, you give your power away. You hand it over to someone else and say, here, you decide my worth. You decide if I'm good enough. You decide if I'm lovable. And that's when you start accepting bare minimums. A late night text becomes acceptable. A half-hearted apology feels like progress. The relationship becomes one-sided and you keep giving more, hoping that maybe this time it'll be different. But it never is. Because people can feel when you're desperate. They can sense when you don't believe you're enough on your own. And unfortunately, not everyone will honor that vulnerability. Some will use it, some will play with it, and you'll be so busy chasing, you won't even realize you're settling. Settling isn't always loud. Sometimes it's quiet. It shows up as you lowering your expectations piece by piece. It shows up as you justifying behavior you would have walked away from a year ago. It shows up when you start saying, well, maybe this is just how relationships are. No, it's not. That's how relationships look when they're built from chasing instead of mutual value. And what hurts the most is that deep down, you know you deserve better. But chasing has a way of tricking you into believing that the person you're after is the best you'll ever get. It clouds your judgment. It makes you ignore your standards. It convinces you that being chosen by the wrong person is better than being alone. But the truth is, the moment you start chasing, you stop receiving. Because real love, real connection, it's not something you beg for. It's not something you hustle to earn. It's something that flows to you when you know your worth and refuse to compromise it for the sake of temporary validation. 6, attracting comes from alignment. Attracting doesn't happen because you look good, say the right things, or post the right pictures. It happens because your life is in alignment. Alignment means your thoughts, your energy, your actions, and your standards are all flowing in the same direction. It means who you are on the inside matches what you show on the outside. That kind of wholeness creates a frequency that draws the right people, the right opportunities, and the right kind of love toward you without force. When you're in alignment, you're not chasing anything because you trust that what belongs to you will recognize you. You've done the inner work. You've cleaned up your mindset. You've let go of relationships that drained you, patterns that kept you stuck, and beliefs that told you you're not enough. Now you're showing up in the world from a place of self-respect and truth. And that's magnetic. Because the world responds to who you're being. Alignment looks like living by your values even when it's inconvenient. It looks like saying no when something feels off, even if it means being misunderstood. It looks like trusting your timing and not rushing into situations just because you feel pressure to have it all figured out. When you're aligned, you don't operate from scarcity. You already see it, and that energy radiates. You attract peace when you live in peace. You attract loyalty when you're loyal to yourself. You attract love when you love yourself in a way that isn't performative or conditional. The people who come into your life when you're aligned won't require you to shrink, to chase, or to sacrifice your boundaries. Why? Because alignment acts like a filter. Anything or anyone that doesn't match your frequency will either fall away or won't be able to penetrate your space. Alignment also means being honest with yourself, not just about what you want, but about what you're truly ready for. Sometimes we say we want love, but we're still operating from wounds. Sometimes we say we want peace, but we keep engaging with drama. Attracting from a place of alignment requires you to be congruent. Your intentions and your energy need to match. You can't say you want something different while still entertaining the same habits or people that broke you. It's not about being perfect, it's about being real with yourself, about choosing growth over comfort, clarity over confusion, and healing over temporary highs. Because when you're aligned, you don't have to fight for your place in anyone's life. You don't have to explain your worth. The right people will feel it, they'll respect it, they'll rise to meet it because your alignment made it clear that anything less wouldn't even be allowed through the door. Let me leave you with this. You are not here to chase. You are not here to beg, to prove, to convince. You are here to attract what's already in alignment with your worth, your peace, and your purpose. A real queen doesn't lower her crown to be seen. She shines, and the right ones see her. So fix your posture, straighten your standards, protect your energy, because when you walk like you know who you are, the world has no choice but to treat you like it. And if you've been chasing, don't beat yourself up. Just pause, breathe, and come back home to yourself. That's where your power is. That's where your crown sits. Now go be the queen you were born to be.